This video is sponsored by nobody, and I purchased every product shown with my own money. I've spent over 100 hours testing the brand new MetaQuest 3S against the Quest 3 and the Quest 2, and here is everything you need to know about these devices as fast as possible so you can confidently make the right purchase decision or no purchase at all. Let's get started. The Quest 3S uses the same Fresnel lenses as the Quest 2. This means you'll still get those light rays when looking at a bright image on a dark background, and the corners of the screen are still going to look blurry compared to the center of the screen. The only way to fix that is with the pancake lenses on the Quest 3, which not only gets rid of the light rays, but also gives you a super crisp image even to the edges of the screen. The pancake lenses are also much thinner, making a noticeable difference in the headset's thickness. And they also bring the screen closer to your eyes, allowing for a massive improvement to field of view, which we'll talk more about in a minute. But first, I want to talk to you guys about the screens. The Quest 3S shares the same LCD screen as the Quest 2 with 1832 by 1920 pixels per eye. But as you can see in this through the lens comparison, the Quest 3S screen looks like it's a higher resolution for reasons that we're going to discuss in the performance section of this video. The Quest 3 takes the resolution even further with 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye, accounting for a roughly 30% increase in resolution over both the Quest 2 and 3S. However, since that resolution's spread over a wider area, it works out to a still incredible 25% perceived increase in resolution. Aliasing, which are the jagged edges you can see on the outlines of objects, is dramatically improved on both the Quest 3 and 3S thanks to the powerful new processor, though it's not completely gone, as can be seen on this round platform. Since all three headsets use LCD screens, the dynamic range, which is being able to see the details in these super bright or dark areas, as well as the quality of the colors, looks identical to me across all three headsets. And super dark scenes still look like a very dark gray instead of actually being black. While the Quest 3S shares the same screen and lenses as the Quest 2, Meta was able to get the lenses a little closer to the screen, giving you a marginal 6-degree increase in horizontal field of view. The vertical field of view remains 90 degrees, just like the Quest 2. For reference, here's the maximum width and height I can see on the Quest 2's home environment. And here's what I can see with the Quest 3S. The Quest 3 takes us to a whopping 110-degree horizontal field of view and a 96-degree vertical field of view thanks to those pancake lenses. This really starts to give you a competitive advantage because you can see enemy players in your peripheral that you just can't see on the other two headsets. For processing power, the Quest 3S gets the same Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 processor and 8 gigs of RAM that are on the top of the line Quest 3. So games that have been optimized for the new processor will look so much better on the Quest 3S versus the Quest 2. If we take a look at actual in-game footage, you can see that the faster processor allows the Quest 3 and 3S to have extra details like reflections, more foliage, higher resolution textures, real-time shadows in games like Red Matter 2, and even the home environments look better on the Quest 3 and 3S with much more detail in the water, more animations like these waving trees, or the lights and fireworks in the city. And even if you're not playing a game that's been optimized for the new processor, you'll still notice a significant difference in how smooth the motion is between the Quest 2 and the 3S. Because while all three headsets are capable of 120Hz refresh rate for smooth gaming, the Quest 2 can't always keep up with graphics-intensive games like Red Matter 2. And this can really be seen in my spinning test. If I freeze the video, you can see that the Quest 2 shows multiple space shuttles overlapping, while the Quest 3S just shows one shuttle. Simply put, the Quest 3S will give you a significant improvement to the visuals over the Quest 2. And we haven't even talked about the mixed reality improvements yet, so let's do that now. Mixed reality is the ability to see both the real and virtual worlds at the same time, and this takes a massive leap between the Quest 2 and the Quest 3S, because the Quest 3S gets 2 high-resolution color cameras and 2 IR flood LEDs to help with depth measurements. The color cameras not only give the Quest 3S a vibrant pass-through, but also gives it 10 times the pass-through pixels compared to the Quest 2. And it makes it possible to read a quick message on your phone or check your watch without having to take the headset off, which is something that was near impossible with the Quest 2. And if you remember my Quest 3 review where I showed you the warping that occurred when bringing anything close to your face in pass-through mode, that has been almost completely fixed on both the Quest 3 and 3S. But they both still need a significant increase in resolution, color accuracy, dynamic range, and low light performance before you start to forget the headsets on. The IR flood LEDs on the Quest 3S give it the ability to create your Guardian automatically just by looking around your room. And in case you're wondering, your Guardian is just what keeps you from accidentally punching a hole in your wall when you're in virtual reality. On the Quest 2, you had to draw your Guardian manually, but fortunately, all 3 headsets remember your Guardian setups, so you only have to do this once unless you move your furniture around. If you're setting up your Guardian using the Space Setup feature to play mixed reality games, both the Quest 3 and 3S can scan your furniture, which is truly incredible the first time you experience this. I was even able to scan my Christmas tree with this. And you can scan up to about 1,000 square foot area, allowing you to play mixed reality games in multiple rooms. One caveat though, is that if you move your furniture after the initial scan, it doesn't automatically update and it's going to throw off the immersion. And it's also important to know that while your furniture can obscure virtual objects, your hands and arms can't, at least not for now. But we can always hope for a future update to bring that functionality. And one more important thing to point out here is that the Quest 3 has a dedicated depth sensor instead of the 2 IR flood LEDs on the Quest 3S. But I didn't notice any significant difference between the Quest 3 and 3S when it comes to automatically mapping a room, low light performance, or anything else related to mixed reality. Speaking of sensors, there's a sensor that's missing on the Quest 3S that both the Quest 2 and 3 have, and it's the proximity sensor that automatically turns the screen on or off when you put the headset on or take it off. This means that you have to press the power button on the side whenever you put the headset on to turn the screen on. But fortunately, the screen, mics, and camera do still turn off automatically after about a minute of the headset lying perfectly still. But don't worry, because even the slightest movement will reset that 1-minute timer, so the headset's never going to go black when you're wearing it. And Meta's marketing department says that the removal of this sensor is a privacy feature to make sure your cameras and microphone don't turn on until you're ready, but we all know it's just a cost savings. If you plan to use VR for productivity, you can connect the Quest 3S to your laptop or desktop computer and create massive virtual screens with an app like Immersed. But since you have the same number of pixels as the Quest 2, and the same blurry corners from the Fresnel lenses, you're much better off just getting a Quest 3 with significantly higher resolution and screen clarity. The difference in clarity and resolution on the Quest 3 makes such a big difference that I was able to use the Quest 3 to test out a virtual 57-inch monitor for a few weeks before actually purchasing the real monitor. And with dozens of hours of working in VR, the Quest 3 made it easy. That's just not something I could comfortably do with the Quest 3S or the Quest 2. In terms of comfort, the Quest 3 and 3S use the exact same fabric on their facial interfaces, and while they're a bit more breathable than the Quest 2's fabric, they aren't quite as soft. But regardless, both of these styles are very comfortable for extended use. In terms of light leak around the facial interfaces, all 3 headsets let some light leak in around your nose. The Quest 3 lets a bit more light in than the Quest 2, and the Quest 3S lets the most light in. But the differences are pretty negligible, and as soon as the display turns on, I stop noticing any light leaks regardless of which headset I'm using. Taking a closer look at the facial interfaces, we see that the Quest 3 has an adjustable interface where you can press in on these inside buttons to extend the interface to 3 extra positions to accommodate glasses. That feature was dropped on the Quest 3S, which now uses a separate attachable spacer if you want to use the headset with glasses on, just like the Quest 2. And unfortunately, the Quest 3S's facial interface doesn't connect the same way as the Quest 3 or the Quest 2, so you can't even buy the adjustable interface for the Quest 3S if you wanted to. At least not at the time of making this video. In terms of comfort while wearing glasses, all of the headsets are plenty comfortable enough after you take some time to adjust the headset a bit. Looking at the head straps, the Quest 3S has the same split style head strap as the Quest 3, and this split style allows you to use the headset with a ponytail that goes right through this V shape. The strap is mostly comfortable for short-term use, but I found that after about an hour of having this on, these little tensioners really start to hurt the back of my head. But if I loosen them to relieve the pressure, the headset wouldn't be tight enough and it would start sliding around a bit on my face. The Quest 2 strap has these hard plastic tensioners, which are even worse. So if you're going to be playing any longer than an hour at a time, I highly recommend getting a replacement head strap, like Meta's own Elite strap with battery pack, or a third-party strap like the Bobo VR M3 or the upgraded S3, which I have here. The difference in comfort with one of these premium straps versus the ones that you get in the box is dramatic. So if you want to check these out, I'll have links to them in the description and pinned comment. And full disclosure, those are affiliate links, so if you purchase a product through those links, I do get a small commission at no extra cost to you, so if you want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. The Quest 3S lenses can be pushed into 3 different positions to match your eye spacing. This is called interpupillary distance, or IPD for short. The lenses click into place at a distance of 58, 63, or 68 millimeters, which is exactly the same as the Quest 2. The Quest 3 takes things further with a continuous adjustment wheel that smoothly adjusts the IPD from 58 to 70 millimeters. But thanks to a wider eye box, the Quest 3 can accommodate eye spacing from 53 to 75 millimeters. So if you fall into one of those two extremes, the Quest 3 will give you a more comfortable viewing experience. And when it comes to adjusting your headset's IPD, my personal recommendation is to always go with a wider IPD setting if you land in the middle of two ranges, because that'll give you the widest field of view in the headset. And if you get a Quest 3, you can refer to this chart from Meta and set the IPD as wide as possible where it still fits in your measurement range. But if you notice that it gets a little hard to focus on things that are closer to you, just reduce the IPD a bit and that should help. The Quest 3S introduces a new button called the Action button, which currently only switches your view from the virtual world to the real world. But you can already do this on any Quest headset just by double tapping the side of it. And unfortunately, you currently can't customize what this button does, and I think that is a huge missed opportunity. Imagine just being able to use this button to mute or unmute your microphone, or quickly start a screen recording to capture some gameplay, or maybe even do different things with a single press, double press, and long press. Tell you what, I know that Meta saw my last Quest headset review, so for this review, reply to the pinned comment below with the functions that you would want to see for the Action button, and hopefully Meta will see that post and implement the most liked functions in a future update. Beyond the graphical improvements, there are very slight reductions to the headset's boot up time, as well as loading times that are measurable but not significant. If you want to dramatically boost the visuals on any of these headsets, and you have a powerful gaming PC, you can use Meta's official AirLink app to wirelessly stream your favorite PC VR games to the headsets with unbelievable graphic detail. Meta's AirLink app currently allows for 120Hz streaming, up to a 1.7 times render resolution, and a maximum bitrate of 200 megabits per second for all three headsets. Just remember though that the streaming quality depends heavily on how powerful your computer is and how fast your Wi-Fi network is. And speaking of Wi-Fi, the Quest 3S gets Wi-Fi 6E just like the Quest 3. Simply put, this just means that you'll get smoother AirLink gameplay, and you'll get faster download speeds for games and software updates compared to the Quest 2's Wi-Fi 6, as long as you have a Wi-Fi 6E capable network. Meta says the Quest 3S has reduced distortion, improved bass, and has better spatial audio than the Quest 2. But let's test that with high-quality in-ear microphones, which come astoundingly close to capturing the actual sound quality from the headset, provided you're listening to this video with decent earbuds or headphones. Unfortunately, it's not all good news with the Quest 3S's audio. The headphone jack that was on both the Quest 2 and 3 has been completely removed. So if you want to use headphones, you'll need a USB-C to 3.5mm adapter like this one. And if you want to connect a battery pack to charge at the same time, you'll need a dual adapter like this one with a USB-C power pass-through. The one downside with using these adapters is that none of them that I could find support data transmission. This means that you won't be able to see the battery percentage of an Elite strap when it's using an adapter. It's not the end of the world, but it's worth pointing out. And while you can technically connect Bluetooth headphones, it's borderline useless because the sound delay will be far too great to play most games, especially games like Beat Saber, because you'll hear the music well after you were supposed to hit the bricks. So your only wireless options are something like these Soundcore VR P10s, the Razer Hammerheads, or the budget-friendly RYR earbuds. All of these come with a 2.4 GHz USB transceiver for ultra-low latency audio. I've got a lot of thoughts on these 3 earbuds, so if you guys want to see a dedicated video on MetaQuest accessories, let me know in the comments down below. But for now, here's the short of it. The RYR earbuds are actually pretty good sounding considering the price, but they're not the most comfortable for extended use. The Razer earbuds are the only ones with active noise cancelling and ambient sound modes, and they're going to sound the most crisp, but not by a big margin. And the Razer earbuds are the only ones that don't have power pass-through with their USB-C connector. So that means you can't connect an external battery while using the Razer buds. My personal pick would be the Soundcore buds. They may not have active noise cancelling or ambient sound modes, but their USB-C connector supports power pass-through. The connector fits right inside the case so you don't lose it. They are noticeably more comfortable than the RYR earbuds, and the sound quality is also close enough to the Razer earbuds while being substantially less expensive. Now let's do a microphone test with each headset to see how the built-in mic sounds. Here's a microphone test with the Quest 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop a like below if this video has been helpful. Here's a microphone test on the Quest 3S. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Consider subscribing if you want to see more deep dive videos just like this. Here's a microphone test with the Quest 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And don't forget to turn on notifications if you don't want to miss an upload. Here's a microphone test on the Quest Pro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop a comment down below with which microphone you think sounds the best. Taking a closer look at the controllers that come with the Quest 3S, they're actually the exact same controllers that come with the Quest 3, and these use a combination of IR tracking LEDs built right into the body of the controller and constant hand tracking. The Quest 2 controllers just use IR LEDs in the large rings for tracking. And since the new controllers don't have rings, you can get them a lot closer to each other, which makes manipulating VR objects easier and substantially reduces the risk of smashing the rings together when doing quick movements, something I've done plenty of times. And another benefit to not having those rings is that the Quest 3 and 3S controllers are actually lighter than the Quest 2 controllers. And the new controllers feel much less top-heavy, which makes them more comfortable and easier to use for fast and precise motions. And here's a quick bonus tip. All of these headsets support using your finger to navigate through the menus, even while you're holding the controllers. In terms of tracking accuracy, the new controllers pass my Beat Saber Expert Plus test, and throwing things, grabbing items from behind you, aiming with your controllers close to your face, and using a bow and arrow all work well. The only time I ran into an issue was occasionally in a fitness app like Body Combat, where I'm throwing wide-reaching punches as hard and fast as I can. The combination of the controller being out of my view, then speeding right into my view with a fast punch, sometimes causes the controllers to lose tracking for about a half a second. And this is true with all 3 headsets, but it's important to point out that while it was rare to happen, it did happen a bit more often on the Quest 2 than the Quest 3 and 3S. The haptic feedback in the Quest 3 and 3S controllers, which is the vibration you feel in the controllers, is far more crisp than the Quest 2 controllers. The Quest 2 controller vibrations just seem a bit loose by comparison to the 3 and 3S controllers. It's like every vibration just rattles a bit longer instead of stopping immediately like on these controllers, and that leads to a less premium feel. The one upside of the Quest 2 controllers is that their vibrations are noticeably stronger than the other controllers, but even still, I much prefer the more crisp vibrations of the 3 and 3S controllers. To test battery life, I ran 2 different tests. The first was a worst-case test of mixed reality gaming on an entire floor of my home. After 30 minutes of gaming, the headset dropped to about 75%, and if the battery drain remained constant, I'd get a maximum of 2 hours of mixed reality gameplay. For the second test, I played a mix of Beat Saber and some more graphically intensive games like the new Batman. After an hour of playing, I still had 58% left, but after another hour of just Batman, the headset completely died with a total runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes. This falls pretty short of Meta's estimated 2.5 hour battery life, so expect about 2 hours of battery life with graphics-intensive games, and up to 2.5 hours with more basic games. If this isn't enough game time for you, you can get Meta's official Elite Strap with battery pack, which adds a second battery here for up to 2 more hours of playtime on a single charge. And as I mentioned earlier, this head strap is also significantly more comfortable than the default strap. If you want the most comfortable battery strap with all the bells and whistles, check out the Bobo VR S3 Pro, which not only has hot swappable batteries for basically infinite playtime, but puts the weight on top of your head instead of on your face. It also has a built-in fan and is surprisingly significantly less expensive than Meta's official head strap. The downside with this head strap is that it's pretty heavy, effectively doubling the weight of the headset, and it's also pretty bulky, so it's not going to fit in Meta's official carrying cases. As for the controller battery life, The Quest 2, 3, and 3S controllers have no specific battery life listed, but a single AA battery should last you weeks of playing before needing to be replaced. And when it comes time to replace the batteries, the Quest 3 and 3S controllers have an easy to press button to release the battery cover, which is a whole lot easier than taking the battery cover off the Quest 2 controllers. But regardless of which controllers you have, if you ever want to see the controller battery life, all you have to do is look down at your controllers in the home environment and you'll see a battery marking right on the controllers. Or you could bring up your quick menu to see the actual battery percentages of not just the controllers, but also your headset. When it comes to charging, the Quest 3S loses the charging pads that were on the bottom of the Quest 3, so you'll need to plug into the USB-C port on the side instead of docking it like you can with the Quest 3. For my charge speed test, I used the official power adapters that came with the headsets and kept the headsets turned off while they were charging. The Quest 3S charged from completely dead to 99% in just 90 minutes. But then it slows to a crawl, taking a whopping 20 more minutes for that last 1%. That puts it pretty close to Meta's 1.9 hour estimate, but if you're content with 99%, it's a pretty quick charge. The Quest 3 charges more consistently, but not quite as fast to 99% as the Quest 3S. And the Quest 2 charges notably slower than the other two headsets, taking nearly forever to finish charging from 85% to 100%, which means the Quest 2's charge time was 70 minutes longer than the other two headsets. For optional accessories that you can purchase separately, you get the Elite Strap with or without the battery pack, a full-size carrying case if you have the Elite Strap, a compact carrying case if you have the default strap, the compact charging dock, which comes with rechargeable batteries that wirelessly charge on the dock, Zenni optical prescription lens inserts, a breathable facial interface, and active straps for the controllers. The Quest 3S comes with either 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage, depending on how much cash you want to spend. And I'll have affiliate links to the best deals I can find in the description and pinned comment if you're interested. So now for the big question. Which headset should you get? Well, if you've never even tried VR before and this is going to be your first step into VR at all, or you're still rocking the original Oculus Quest, then the 128GB version of the Quest 3S will be an incredible headset for you. You'll be able to play all the same games as the top tier Quest 3 for a significantly lower price, and since you're new to VR, the image quality on the Quest 3S will be mind-blowing enough. If you currently have a Quest 2 and you play VR games at least once a week, or you play competitive VR games, then the Quest 3S is absolutely worth the upgrade. The substantial increase in graphic detail, slightly wider field of view, significantly better controllers, dramatically better mixed reality experiences, smoother gameplay, and faster Wi-Fi connection make the Quest 3S a dramatic upgrade over the Quest 2. The Quest 3 becomes my recommendation if you already have a large library of VR games and were planning on buying the 256GB version of the Quest 3S. The Quest 3 is only $100 more than that 256GB version, and it comes with 512GB of storage. So think of it like paying for the extra storage upgrade, but also getting a dramatic boost in visual clarity for your entire field of view, a 25% perceived increase in resolution over both the Quest 2 and 3S, and a substantially wider field of view, which does make a significant difference in both competitive gameplay and the level of immersion. And if you just want the best of the best regardless of price, then obviously the Quest 3 is hands down going to be your pick. If you currently have the Quest Pro, then I only recommend getting the Quest 3 if you just want the best standalone gaming experience. But if you're currently using your Quest Pro to exclusively play PC VR games, then I'd just stick with your Pro until Meta releases either a Quest Pro 2 or other similar device. And if you want to see how the Quest Pro compares to the Quest 3 and Quest 2, you can check out this video here. And consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you want to see more deep dive tech reviews just like this. That's it for this tech episode. God bless, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.